There's so much we didn't know about this place, Henry. Worlds upon worlds, entire civilizations. Far more than we ever theorized. It's okay. Passing through, we stake no claim.
Go in peace.
There.
I thought I was gone. But that energy from your hands, how did you do that?
I'm not the same woman I was 30 years ago, Henry. This place, it changes you. I mean, adaptation is part of it, but some of it is evolution.
They did it.
Ready to ascend.
Let's go see our daughter.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. You probably just saw that Marvel confirmed Ant-Man and the Wasp 3 is happening. There are a lot of big plot threads after Avengers Endgame with the quantum realm, quantum energy, and Ant-Man and the Wasp with the way they use quantum energy that they still have to address. As that scene implies, Janet Van Dyne is now an evolved being, like you would think of a mutant or an X-Men character in the MCU. There's also a lot of young Avengers time travel stuff that they're setting up through Avengers Endgame. I'm still doing the Avengers Infinity Saga giant box set giveaway. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and leave your best theory about how they'll use the quantum realm and quantum energy in future movies. So we'll just break this down top 5 style. Careful for spoilers if you haven't seen Avengers Endgame or Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I feel like most of you have probably seen those movies by now. Number 5, as I said, they confirmed that they're doing Ant-Man 3. They haven't confirmed what the title is. A lot of us are just calling it Ant-Man the Wasp in stature because Cassie Lang is still a teenager right now as of the end of Avengers Endgame. But Peyton Reed is coming back to direct again, making him one of the first Marvel directors to do an entire trilogy of movies himself next to James Gunn. But Guardians of the Galaxy 3 won't happen till 2023. I will explain the release dates for everything in a second too. But a lot of people after the Marvel Phase 4 Comic-Con panel asked if they would do another Ant-Man movie because they have so much new IP because of Fantastic Four, Deadpool, the main X-Men films. And in terms of box office, Ant-Man has always been one of their smaller franchises. Just post all your size puns in the comments. Both of the Ant-Man movies have been great, but just in terms of actual box office profits, they don't make quite as much money as some of their other IP, and it just seems like a new X-Men movie, a new Fantastic Four, new Deadpool might earn way more money than an Ant-Man movie. So Paul Rudd was making all kinds of jokes after they announced their Phase 4 slate about them not doing Ant-Man 3, I think just to get people worked up so that they would start yelling at Marvel to make a third film. But number 4, the reason why they need to do Ant-Man 3 is because there are too many cliffhangers involving the quantum realm and quantum energy that they have to answer. As of the end of Avengers Endgame, we know they perfected time travel using it, and also as part of Endgame time travel, we learned that they can also use it to travel between dimensions, realities, or universes in the multiverse. Technically, all those things aren't the same thing, but you get the idea. They can use it to phase across the multiverse. And because of Janet Van Dyne's evolved body, we know that quantum energy has a lot of biological properties. You could even call them mutant-like abilities that they haven't totally explained yet. Because they made that movie before the Fox Disney deal closed, Ant-Man and the Wasp, so that's why she talked about it as being evolved. She couldn't say the word mutant. Janet Van Dyne just lays her hands on the ghost, stabilizes her quantum state so she stops phasing between universes uncontrollably. But that's it. They didn't explain how that works or what was happening exactly. They're just leaving that for the third movie. So this is one of the reasons why they're doing Ant-Man 3 before they announce their Marvel X-Men reboot. They keep saying that that's a little ways off because there are a couple big concepts that they have to explain. And as the name implies, Doctor Strange 2 in the Multiverse of Madness, you also get the teaser at Avengers Endgame in the first Doctor Strange movie of the concept of multiple realities. Ant-Man 3 and Doctor Strange 2 will just explain those ideas in much greater detail and use them as much bigger story devices. Although obviously Doctor Strange 2 is going to lean more heavily on the multiverse side of things, and Ant-Man 3 will just focus more on the actual quantum realm of it all. That includes, number 3, the very noticeable Quantum City in the background as Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne are leaving during Ant-Man and the Wasp. I love how they don't even mention it, like Hank Pym couldn't be bothered because he's seeing his wife for the first time in over 20 years. Janet Van Dyne just thinking about seeing her daughter Hope again. But the real reason why nobody mentions the Quantum City in the movie is because they were just leaving it for the third film to explain, oh yeah, there's a whole city full of beings down there, they're all highly evolved just like me. Marvel has made some changes to the quantum realm from the comics. In the comics, it was actually called the Microverse, and it was populated by a race of beings called the Micronauts. They have their own wars, their own society. They look kind of like Transformers, but the reason why Marvel can't use the name Microverse or Micronauts is because that's owned by Hasbro. Marvel just licensed them when they made the original comic book so many years ago.
All with interchangeable parts, so your child can create dozens of different toys. And when Micronauts start a child's imagination working, he can create just about anything. Toys that climb, toys that spin, toys that float, toys that stimulate young minds.
Look what I made.
Micronauts.
But the basic concept is still there. You have a race of humanoid, quantum beings living in the Quantum City, and maybe other comic book characters that have the technology and the science to enter the quantum realm. There's no way that Hank Pym is the first person in the history of the multiverse who's been smart enough to figure out the quantum realm. He's just one of the only people on our version of Earth in the multiverse that's figured it out. The whole concept of the quantum realm is that it's a sublayer of reality connecting all the different universes of the multiverse. There are infinite universes in the multiverse, but there's only one quantum realm connecting them all. That's why the Avengers can use it to travel between realities, like Captain America hopping back to our reality after living out his life with this version of Peggy Carter. And it's the reason why Ghost phases uncontrollably between universes until Janet Van Dyne gives her a dose of quantum energy to stabilize her. At least part of the movie is going to be dedicated to explaining who those people are down there and whether or not they're friend or foe. There's also the people that Sonny Burch talks about that he works for, people that don't take no for an answer. There's all kinds of speculation about how Marvel could tie that to Norman Osborn and Oscorp. There aren't that many people on planet Earth with the amount of money that Sonny Burch is talking about and organizations that powerful. But we've already talked about setting up the concept of X-Men in the MCU. Number 2, this is where you also start to get into Young Avengers, Cassie Lang's stature, Kang the Conqueror, and more overt time travel stories. Marvel and Kevin Feige have only said that they're working on a Young Avengers project. They didn't say if it'd be a movie or another Disney Plus series, but they have Cassie Lang's stature already, Shuri, the Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and Kate Bishop Hawkeye characters coming soon. You can kind of include Morgan Stark when she's a little bit older. If Young Avengers is going to be a time travel franchise, it's easier to explain that an older version of her from the future could join the team at some point. And if you want to get technical, you can include Spider-Man on that team because he's still so young in age, but really I count him more as a full-blown regular Avengers team member because of the events of Avengers Infinity War where Iron Man made it official.
All right, kid. You're an Avenger now.
Spider-Man appearing in a Young Avengers project would also depend on Marvel and Sony renewing their sharing deal again after the next 2 Spider-Man appearances. They will, but they're probably not going to talk about that publicly until they absolutely have to, which is minimum 3 to 4 years. But number 1, really important details, release date and characters. So right now, Marvel has 3 movies dated for 2022. There's an untitled Marvel movie dated February 18th. They've already confirmed Black Panther 2 is May 6th. And then the third film is another untitled Marvel movie dated July 29th. Michael Douglas just confirmed that they start filming Ant-Man 3 February 2021, meaning that Ant-Man 3 is probably going to take that February 2022 date. But get hyped up about this. The current leading rumor is that Fantastic Four is going to be that July 2022 movie, meaning that they would have to announce it and start casting it and start filming it by summer 2021. I'll do more videos about what's going on with Marvel Phase 4 when we get more details, but leave all your video requests in the comments below. There's also a bunch of stuff starting in the next couple of weeks. As long as you have alerts enabled for my channel, you should see the videos when I post them. Everybody click here for my new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 2 teaser trailer, and click here for that new Avengers 5 announcement. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.